Hello. Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, please drop it in the chat box. Shy. If you can hear me, please drop it down in the chat box so I'll know when to start. Okay, fantastic. So basically, I'll be going through the entire jam syllabus, and I'll try as much to make sure I don't skip anything that is important. So if there's any point that you cannot hear me, please let me always drop it in the chat box so I will know, and I'll be able to go over whatever it is I said. Whatever I say, I say again. So I'm coming. Let me open the syllabus. Syllabus. Um, Fantastic. Okay. So I think, as I said before, that the one of the very important topic, one of the important topic that you have to understand about before going to exam, because close like 4 or 5 questions, or even more than that, tend to be asked, and that's taxonomy. And I'm very happy that one of the tutor already taught you that. So we'll just be going over the intricacy part, like the difficult part of it, and some part that you may probably have forgotten. So we start from now. Take note that we have domains. So kingdom is not the first. Kingdom is not the first. Um, it's not the first category that you divide living organisms based on. You start with domain. It is domain, kingdom, phylum, or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. So it's like that. So we have three domains. The first one is prokarya. The second one is archaean. The third one is eukarya. So just picture it this way: prokarya is like the older generations, like the less developed generations, while eukarya is like the latest ones, which are like us humans, and archaean is like in between the two of them. An example of prokarya is your bacteria. So kingdom monera is under domain prokarya. While archaea, you will hardly be asked about archaea, but it's good for you to know that they share the same um, characteristics with eukarya and prokarya. They are more like just in between. While under eukarya, that's where you now have kingdom protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom plant, and kingdom animalia. So now let's now go into the kingdoms. So you have kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera is what example of of an organism under kingdom Monera is bacteria. You have some other examples as well. Oh yeah, it's bacteria, but then you have different kind of bacteria. Now, a unique feature of kingdom Monera is that they lack cell mem. They lack organelles that have cell membrane, and they lack so for them to lack um organelles that have cell membrane, then that means they do not have mitochondria. All the organelles that have cell membrane, they do not have it. And instead of having, since they no longer have mitochondria now, they have um and they don't have nucleus. Their nucleus is not like in a confined space, unlike that of eukarya. Is within a region called the nucleoid, and the they generate their energy from certain enzymes within their cell membrane. Now, take note, I said that they lack membrane bound organelles, not that they lack membrane. They don't lack cell membrane, they only lack membrane bound organelles. So, the enzymes that are required to generate energy are usually found in their cell membrane since they lack mitochondria that perform that particular function. And what other features of mitochondria should have I skipped? Of kingdom Monera, or bacteria that have I skipped? Mm, okay. Yeah, they have 70s ribosome. That's also another important features. They have 70s ribosome, while eukaryotes have 80s ribosome. And that is like sedimentary rate. You don't really need to know what the S really stand for, but it won't be bad if you have an idea about what it is. Okay. So then from Kingdom Monera, then you move to Kingdom Protista. Now under Kingdom Protista, that is where you have your Euglena, all these other organisms. You have your Euglena, you have your Amoeba, you have your Parisium. Now take note that you have some that are animal like, you have some that are plant like. The one that is animal like is Paramecium. The one that is plant like is there's another one that is plant like, but I don't think it's amoeba. And then Euglena is like in between the two, in between animal like and plant like. They have both characteristics of an animal and they have characteristics of a plant. Okay, yes, and the the like the part of or the organisms under kingdom protista that are animal like are referred to as protozoas, while the ones that are plant like are referred to as protophytes. Now, why the ones that share both plant and animal like are referred to as the euglenophytes. Okay, so now then you then move to fungi. Now, under fungi, you have mushrooms, you have slime moths, you have a lot of organisms. Just know that one important thing you should know about fungi is that they have what? They have cell wall. They are usually compared to plants because they have cell wall. But then now they notice that their cell wall does not have cellulose, unlike that of plants. Their cell wall has chitin instead. And their basic units, like the same way we have basic units in humans that we said, oh, the basic unit of life is cell. They also have that in fungi as too, and they are referred to as mycelium. So another example of fungi is also rhizopus. Okay, okay. So then, oh shit, I mean, Apologies. Just give me a moment. Okay, so yeah, so take note that they have mycelium, they have hyphae. Now they will tend to ask you to differentiate between mycelium and hyphae. Yeah, so yeah, they always tend to like ask you to differentiate between mycelium and hyphae. So you should be able to know the difference. So what's the difference? Anybody that's around, what's the difference between mycelium and hyphae? Let me know. Let me know. Drop the answer in the chat box before we move on. I'm waiting. Difference between mycelium and hyphae. So yeah, mycelium and hyphae. Okay, okay. So now fungi are more like they are filamentous. They are like arranged in form of like filaments. So the single filament of the fungi is referred to as hyphae. While the collective of them, like when they come together, like when you see them clump together, that structure that they form when they clump together is mycelium. So I hope you get that. And so nobody's here or chat. Okay. Okay, so for fungi, they can either be single celled or double celled. Okay, yes. So we are back. So now um for fungi, they can either be single celled or multicellular. Now take note that for kingdom Monera, which are the bacteria, they are usually unicellular. For protistas, they are also usually unicellular. Why fungi can either be unicellular or multicellular. And fungi are heterotrophic, they don't produce their own um they don't produce their food themselves. Now these particular people, this um Moneras, they have chlorophyll, but they don't have chloroplast. Don't forget that I said that they lack membrane-bound organelles. And an example of a membrane-bound organelle is chloroplast. So they lack chloroplast, but then they have chlorophyll, which they use to produce their food. And the plant-like, so, and don't forget I told that kingdom producer can be both. They are some of them that are animal-like, that some of them that are plant-like. Now the ones that are plant-like, they can produce their food themselves. The ones that are animal-like, they make use of animal form of producing food, which is heterotrophic. So take note that um, kingdom producer can either be both heterotrophic or autotrophic, depending on the particular organism. Okay, and I always talked about their cell wall for fungi, and I always said that plant, what's called Monera, which are the bacteria, they lack membrane organelles, and that means they they don't have their own nucleus because nucleus are double membrane bound. They have double membrane organelles. And so now so we've done protista, we've done fungi. Now let's now go to plantae. Now plantae, under plantae, we have like three classes or divisions. We have three phylums, three divisions, because you use divisions for plants, you use phylum for animals. Take note of that because they can use that to kind of like want to like trick you, and they will say, oh, and they'll give you a plant, a species that is a plant, and they tell you that um which something is this, and then they will tell you phylum or division. If you are referring to plants, you always have to use division. If you are referring to animals, that's when you use phylums. Okay, so under kingdom plantae, we have three divisions, three main divisions. Now the first division is the so we have thallophytes, we have the bryophytes, and then we have the tracheophytes. Now the thallophytes, from thallophytes, they have thallus, and for bryophytes, there's particular unique features of bryophytes. So take note that both thallophytes and bryophytes are non-vascular plants. The only vascular plants are the tracheophytes, like tracheates. Tracheates are the vascular bodies. Tracheates I used to refer to as I used to refer to the vascular bundles. So tracheophytes are what are vascular plants, while thallophytes and bryophytes are non-vascular plants. And um, examples of examples of organisms under thallophytes are usually algae. Algae are thallophytes. Algae are thallophytes. And examples of that, you have Spirogera, you have Volvox, you have the Chlamydomonas. Now, don't mix up Chlamydomonas and Euglenophyta. Euglena are under Kingdom Protista, while Chlamydomonas are under thallophytes. They are plants. And you have Spirogera, you have Volvox. Now, you should take note of the diagram because it may also be asked about the labeling. So um now for bryophytes, there's an important characteristics of bryophytes. Now they don't have vascular bundles. Um they have structures. Now most of both thallophytes and bryophytes don't really have they don't have roots, they don't have stems. But then bryophyte has structures resembling roots, which are referred to as rhizoids. That's an important characteristic of bryophytes. So if you see in an option and you see rhizoids, you know that that particular characteristic is trying to refer to from to bryophytes. And bryophytes are usually found in damp places. Now, I I don't know how to describe a particular plant that I tend to like see around, but that particular plant is a bryophyte. But I don't know how to describe. Probably next time if I see it, I'll probably take a picture of it. So an example of a very important example of this thing of bryophytes I was Moses and liverwort. Moses, not like Moses is the one that split the Red Sea. I mean Moses, Mosses, and liverwort, Liverworts. And then you also have armworms as well too for bryophytes. Now for trichophytes is now further divided into pteridophytes and spermatophytes. Now the pteridophytes are now take note that all the plants that we've talked about now so far are non-flowering plants. Both stratophytes and bryophytes are non-flowering plant at all. Now you also need to take note of um, their reproduction, their mode of reproduction. Um, Bryophytes can use both sexual and asexual form of reproduction using spore formation. Now for pteridophytes, they are non-flowering plants. Pteridophytes and spermatophytes are under stratophytes. So let's start with pteridophytes. They are non-flowering plants and they are vascular plants, since we already know that. And they have structures resembling roots, stems, and leaf. You know, I told you that the remaining bryophytes and thallophytes, they don't have structures, they don't have roots, stems, and leaves. It's only bryophyte that has a structure resembling a root, which is the rhizoid.
I'm just coming back. I'm doing like I'm getting ready to.
And pteridophytes, um,
I said I'm getting ready to leave.
so pteridophytes produced by special gametes and spores. Um, examples of pteridophytes are ferns and
Yes, I have. I'm doing.
Selaginella, Selaginella.
I've gotten before. I've
So
gotten it.
another example now, another goes to the next part, which is the spermatophytes. Now they are seed producing vascular plants, and they have true roots. So spermatophytes are the only plants now that we've talked about so far. They have true roots. They have true roots, stems, and leaves. And spermatophytes is further divided into two. You have the gymnosperms, and then you have the angiosperm. Now, the gymnosperm have naked seeds. That means their seeds are not enclosed in like flowers. And examples of gymnosperms, you have conifers, you have cycads, you have whistling span, whistling pine. And their seeds are always born on structures called cones, cones. Now for for angiosperms are the many parts. Now angiosperms is further divided into um, dicotyledonous plants and monocotyledonous plants. And angiosperms are flowering seeds, so that means their seeds are within a structure, which is the flower or the fruits basically, but flowers. So for monocotyledons, they have parallel leaf venation. Example of that is grass. So if you look at the veins, like the amount of their, if you observe a leaf very well, you see more like straight lines in them. Now those particular lines are more like the venation. Now for monocotyledons, they are parallel, and they also have fibrous roots. Now fibrous in the sense that it is not it's not like the head of a spear. Like it's like a fan. It's like an ant fan that you open up, so it spreads out. So that's for monocotyledons. They have fibrous roots. They have parallel venation, and they only have one seed coat. Mono is one, cotyledon is seed coat or seed leaves. So they have only one seed coat, seed leaves. Now examples of monocots, you have maize. Basically all most grains are monocots. So you have maize, you have rice, you have grasses, you have bamboos. Now for dicotyledons, they have net venation. So if you look at the venation, it's like it spreads out, like it spreads out. Let me see if I can draw it. Like it looks more like something like this. So it kind of like spreads out. So that's the own venation. While the one for monocots is more like just parallel, like it's like this. It's like this. Okay, and dicot have taproot system. Now taproot system is kind of, it resembles the head of a spear. Like it's more like trying to like dig deep into the roots, something like this. Into the what's called into the trees. Check. Oh, she's on this side. Okay, yeah. So that's the way the what's called the the taproot system looks like, and an example of diclocletus. Now you have your legumes basically, and most trees, so mango trees and hibiscus and beans. Okay, now so that's for plants. So now let's talk about animals. So for animals, you already know that all animals are eukarya. For animals, we have classes PCP Namiak, um, phylum Porifera, phylum Colentrata, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Nematoda, um, phylum Annelida, na phylum Mollusca, EAC, phylum Arthropods, phylum Echinodermata, and phylum Chordata. So those are the phylums that you have under kingdom Animalia. So now let's now try to pick them one by one. Okay, so someone is back. Okay, category of the animals now. Let's start with kingdom Porifera. Now, kingdom Porifera, they are like the least adult of the whole plant of the whole animal kingdoms, and they make use of. They are usually aquatic and they are multicellular. So take note that all animals, all organisms under kingdom Animalias are multicellular because they are advanced. And what's one way you can show that something is advanced um, is if it is multicellular. So that means it's trying to like produce more and to allow it to like specialize. That's why they tend to be multicellular. So okay, so one unique feature of phylum Porifera is that they have spicles. They have spicles, and they can reproduce both asexual and sexual modes. An example of organisms under Porifera is what you have your sponges. So now moving on to phylum Colentrata. So Colentrata, now phylum Colentrata can also be is also called um phylum Nidaria. Okay, I think someone just said that their network is very bad, and then there are not a lot of people here, and yeah, I don't know. So I think I'll just end it here. I think I'll just end it here. I think I'll just end it here. So hopefully we'll continue this in the class. If you guys will be able to like stay up all night, then try and make sure that we touch every single part that we can. So I think I'll end the live now and we'll just do the class probably like later in the evening. So for the person that joined, thank you for joining, and yeah, I'll see you in class later.